everyone, I'm Delphius, and today I wanted to have an excuse to talk about Blockbound. Well, most notably, Null, as I really wanted an excuse to talk about Null, and his potential moveset, and just do some theory crafting for him in general, as he is my most favorite out of the trio, and also a childhood favorite. Also, before we truly begin, I'm gonna basically split this video into two. One, talking about Null's history, basically real life history, main myth itself, and power scaling wise, and history of abilities, base abilities, all that jazz. And one just talking about the theory of the moveset. And no, one-off abilities I would use in a random animation and then never shows up in others will not be counted. Only the most common abilities and the original myth's base abilities. So let me put that out there real quick. Surprisingly, out of all of the three, he's the only one with the most consistent abilities that is actually still tied to his original myth, which is teleportation and that screen distortion. I'm not sure if this ability has an actual name, so imagine something like Slenderman screen distortion, but with Null. That's basically what it is. And for years, those has basically been Null's base two abilities that he has been depicted with for a very long time, but majority of the time he is just depicted with his teleportation ability. Him not having too many abilities to speak of is probably due to the fact that he was, once again, the third most popular myth, since majority of the time he either got depicted as being Herobrine himself or something else. Well, yes, ability wise, he is weaker, extremely weaker compared to the other two, but what makes him very strong and able to keep up with them is not his abilities. I mean, teleportation he definitely uses, but it's more on what his skills that I wish to note, which is something he is most famous for, his sword fighting skills, which has been one of the most consistency about Null over the years, all the way up to today even, surprisingly. And it's something that actually makes him a bit more unique than Herobrine and Entity 303. Well, yes, both Herobrine and Entity 303 has used weapons before, Entity 303 with a scythe, Herobrine with a diamond sword, and sometimes a diamond pickaxe. Those two don't really rely on those weapons, or weapons in general, since Entity 303 usually flies around, usually use fire-related attacks, while Herobrine richly use any other ability in the books, flying, teleportation, and a crap ton of other abilities I am not going to be listing since that's simply put way too many. Like, no, seriously, if you look at the list of abilities Herobrine had and the list of abilities he is constantly given consistently over years, it is just way too many and completely reminds you that he is truly the strongest of the three compared to Entity 303 and Null, since he is absolutely cracked in terms of abilities. Like, that's not even truly counting the original myth. If we just go off the myths alone for all of them, Herobrine is still the strongest, as Null is just a amalgam. Apparent is, well, we don't truly know what Null truly is. Entity 303 was just a former Mojang worker who disliked Mojang and became a hacker. I hope I remember that correctly. While Herobrine was a straight up spirit in the game. So I don't think I have to fully elaborate on how he's automatically still the stronger of the three, with being a ritual spirit in the game while the others are still held by limitations. Better question, which myth form was stronger, Null or Entity 303? And also, I am now realizing that we fared way too far off from the original subject, so let's quickly round back to that. Something that makes Null unique is his sword fighting skills, where unlike the other two, who has a wide range of abilities to use to their disposal, Null really only has three. Like I mentioned before, teleportation, that screen distortion thing, and a sword. Now, yes, that does mean that in terms of achievements, he has less achievements than Herobrine and Entity 303, but his achievements so far that we do have is nothing to laugh at. Two of his biggest achievements are both speed, because in every iteration of a fight of Null, he is very fast in them every single time, and also use a mixture of his teleportation ability with his sword fighting and absolutely spams it. But through every iteration of him in these fights, he always uses it in a very strategic way instead of just spamming it all over the place. So like, let's make Battle IQ the third achievement he made. I actually doubled that to 4 because I also realized that his ability to break your screen also counts as a 4th achievement. So yeah, and also something we truly can never forget, the fact that he is strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Herobrine. And well, to my knowledge and memory, I think that is all of his major achievements to my current knowledge at least. I could definitely be missing something, so definitely correct me. That's pretty much it in terms of history and abilities. Yeah, compared to Entity 303 and Herobrine, Null's history isn't that diverse. I mean, it's long, but it's not so diverse. That's what I'm now noticing. But enough of that. On to the moveset side of things. So with everything basically being said, his moveset would probably most likely just be a rushdown with maybe a zoner aspect to it, which his main abilities would basically be teleportation. His M1 would most likely just be his sword slash, and also that screen distortion. It most likely won't be a passive, since in the original Myth video, the two of them, of Null, the guy took multiple glimpses at Null without knowing, and the screen didn't distort, which means, or at least most likely mean, that Null has the ability to turn it on and off on command. And also, you may point out, hey, that's only 3, what about a 4th one? Well, both my theory and also a little bit of a proposal for what his 4th ability could be is a punishing ability. Or an ability that is similar to Slasher's Gashing Wound ability. What I mean by this is where he can just hit a survivor, and then during this hypothetical Gashing Wound ability, teleport around the survivor in multiple directions, attacking them to basically punish the survivor for allowing Null to get that close, or at least a reward for Null for sneaking up. Since now that I think about it, stealth would also be probably a little mixture into Null playstyle. I mean, this ability would make a lot of sense both in Null's character and abilities, since he does teleport and use a sword, and also it would also work as a pretty good reference to Null's fighting style over the years. And he also might get a passive that decreases his terror radius due to him also probably leading a little bit into stealth. That's basically it. That's like, oh, that's my big theory for Null and his moveset for Blockbound. I have truly ran out of stuff to say. Hey, hold up. Delphia's somewhat post editing. I just thought of another moveset. An extension of the moveset theory I was just thinking of, where he can switch between 2 modes, rushdown and stealth. With the rushdown already being explained, but the stealth part, it could possibly just work as where he's genuinely just faster in that form, but in return all of his attack damage would be reduced, and he wouldn't, because, well, in this form he wouldn't be using his sword for stealth reasons. So yeah, that is basically my theory for what Null's moveset could be. And also, before I forget to say this again, back to that one part of this video where I was forgetting what Null is, I just realized what he is, and that is he's a glitch. He's a glitch in Minecraft system. That's what he was. I don't know how I forgot about that detail. So yeah, that's what Null is, a glitch. And also, we can also be very sure that Null will sadly not have any LMS with anyone due to not having any notable enemies that is of his own. Unless you want to count along with Josh, but just like Dan, getting permissions to add him to the game would probably be very difficult. Definitely more difficult due to the fact that he is retired and is not active anymore to my current knowledge. And also, for people who wish to get a better idea of what his moveset could look like, how my theory of this moveset could look like. Here's this. It is definitely not polished or finalized due to the fact that, number one, I am not a dev on the Blockbound team, so my moveset idea wouldn't really truly be considered. But if ever given the chance from the Blockbound team or Zorus itself to make a fully polished and finalized moveset for Null, I would definitely take the opportunity, especially for a character like Null, since that stealth mode ability is definitely bare bones, and I do have more ideas how to make it a little stronger and also a lot more finalized. But yeah, that's truly all from me for today. This has been Delphius, and I'll see you all next time.